after she read what was the program in Junction City, she wants to go.
Okay, we have anything on this morning?
Not that I know of.
Do you gentlemen have anything right now at the present? We'll recess in. Have your plan on that? What we got? And I thought it was Justin Mayor from Corporate Michaels and John and Harry, and they suggest pulling that, being the project's so large, and there's just not enough. It'd probably take 10 to 12 years to get from
To do
just
5 years.
Well, just because
Yeah.
the price of asphalt
Right.
and everything else. Because they have, the projected cost on right now is about 1.4 million. And I don't even think that's going to cover it. So they suggested pulling it and putting a bridge or something. Well, my suggestion would be the bridge up here, across the rattlesnake right, west of Cordova. It's a wooden structure, it's one of the last wooden structures we have for the rattlesnake. The rest of them are all steel. But the salt content's so high up there, excuse me, that I think it'd be better to put a cement or deep reinforced on slab bridge in there than it would be to put a steel bridge in there. I just want you to, I guess you wanted you to make a decision to, so if we had something in black and white.
It shows what their projection was for 2009, but they weren't very hopeful with it.
No,
Everything's most of it shut off.
Okay.
that's asphalt's just got.
How much did the county say it was now?
No, and that's the mixing of the wheat, so I'm sure that you get some of that performance credit. The mixing, excuse me, is $1.50 a gallon. Yeah.
And a gallon would do
Man, this
much.
Of course, that'd be hot mix, and we have a different design than what we use.
Someone didn't do you a favor on Stafford Road, south, where you patched. They drove the edge right on the white line. There's ruts in there, about 8 feet. It's all caved off.
Okay.
I don't know why it would be over on the very edge of the roadbed.
That must have been something like that.
It's where they just patched, and then there's, well, it's near the Neola Road. It's where they just recently patched,
Okay.
on the southbound side.
Okay.
in the last 5 years, it's run up under $1 a gallon up to about 58 now. Now, maybe some 78 or 79 cents went about 4 or 5 years ago.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't $1 when you were down there, wasn't it?
He said it was in the 80s, I think, all about
It
money.
was like, yeah.
And then clear double in the last 5 years. They supposed to fix the roads.
Maybe one way you can.
We'll see what the difference on fuel, put the fuel price down.
Yeah, what's your fuel too, to the trucks or everything else too? How's your budget look this year?
Not gonna look very good after I started making really good with it. I bought one load of fuel, so probably within the next 4 or 5 weeks after buy another one.
It load last you how long?
Depends on how hot,
Yeah.
what we're doing, but 6 to 8 weeks. And then for, not quite so busy running the trucks and stuff, that'll last a little while.
Doyle Wilson asked me if we were gonna get to that.
I hope in the next 6 weeks to get down there and do
Because he
that.
said what he was afraid of,
It's gonna get water, I'm
It's
sure.
gonna start raining again.
Yeah.
Did you say you're hauling, what are you doing with the dirt? You said just taking out and get to the.
Up here, we're just hauling as close as we can. Just, there's some farmers and we hauled a bunch up around for Cleveland Township, fill up some of those spots. Oh yeah, I mean, just trying to keep the miles down and no.
A lot more sense to put
Try not to haul it any further than what we
Yeah,
have.
sure, I understand that.
Just clean up ditches up there, I'll see the other day on that.
On the
East
valley,
Valley,
and then we'll get about a couple of days, 2 or 3 more days, what we've done with that. And then we got a little bit of ditch work to do. Oh, back up the sewer, we're gonna do, get that done up there at my beginnings. On the north, and then there's that place to do, cut across the road there for here. And then the other one south of Stafford, and then place over on 50. And most of those are just, those two are just day projects during maybe 2 days at the most, just to get the water, where the water sits there on the road right there west of the airport.
Oh, yeah. Did they say anything Friday? What's the status about the roads over there in Reno County? It's the byway route.
That one has a shoe fly around it right now, the east-west one. The north-south one is still closed, and it'll be closed until they put some sort of structure in there.
Is that the one where they was gonna do a quick fix and?
Put the pot, yeah, I think it had saw pictures, I think, and that's one they showed, maybe there's another.
Yeah, they showed that, just a cast type
That
thing,
cast
washed out.
yeah, is in place, they set in place blocks, cedar blocks.
Which
It
washed
lasted
around.
a year.
It just blew it out.
Yeah, it just washed around.
Did it?
It just,
We had water.
it wasn't the box that failed, it was all,
The volume?
it started cutting around behind the box and everything. It wasn't, the soil wasn't the right type of soil, or something along those lines. When it blew it out, it blew it out.
Well, do we need, do anything to change? We signed that proposal with them. Do you think we need to?
I think you need
They
to.
need a motion.
A motion, and then that way I'll notify Kirk and Michael's.
Okay, we already signed the proposal. Yeah.
So we need a motion regarding
Change.
of the 5-year plan?
Changing the 5-year plan on that 4th Street project.
I'll make the motion, we change the 5-year plan on the 4th Street project.
Second.
Moved to second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay.
Other than that, we're just getting materials in to get our mix mixed up and out seeing this in the hall. Of course, patch roads every day, so.
Well, this is no big deal, but I just said, you know, why would they be driving? And it was heavy, I mean, it's a pretty good track.
Where's it at?
It's Stafford Road going south, where they just patched.
We dug out a bunch of bad spots over there and then rocked them, and then the guys went in and put a patch over the top of them.
Probably has some clay under some of them, just being that.
Well, I hope we had all the clay out there the way he's talking. I don't, it's hard to.
They just may take a drive, and
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
We moved to Great Bend years ago, that Radium Road,
Mhm.
and they're right around Charlie Smith someplace, there's some pretty good chunk.
There's a low place that as soon as we get some mix, that was where we dug out a hole last year. That's where all that water went across right
Yeah,
there.
I
We,
know.
we dug that out and fixed it, and then
Settled
over the
down. Yeah, I
winter it
noticed that
settled.
too.
It's, you don't see it, and then
It'll
all of a
wake
sudden
you
it
up.
just, as soon as we get some mix mixed up, we will.
Could you give Doyle a call, talk to him?
Yes, I would,
Okay,
but I'd like to try to get that done here.
he said, God, I hope it'll rain before they do that.
Well, I planned to do it earlier, and this winter has not been very good for, it just had, hopefully this year's a lot better.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything right
I
now?
have nothing.
Recess?
We border. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, just drop by to see if we ever settle upon some type of rate schedule for copying public records. Remember that was a hot topic with the
Yes.
treasurer a couple of weeks ago.
We'd have to ask the register of deeds what she gets, I don't know.
Just want me to ask her and kind of craft something
She's
based
the
on how
one
much she
that,
does?
she's the one that does most of the copying for the public.
'Cause
I don't know what she charges.
typically, most counties don't charge for like the first 5 or
Yeah.
10 copies, assuming the document's there and ready to be
Well,
copied.
he was gonna prepare something and then leave
Okay.
it pretty, I thought pretty,
At the discretion of.
yeah, where they have discretion, pretty broad
Seems like it's
description or
50
something.
cents a copy maybe, but you would have to go ask her.
But-
Let's
I don't
talk to
know.
her. And if for some reason we have to leave the courthouse and go digging somewhere, I don't know where we store our old stuff.
Salt
So,
mine.
Well, that's what we need to charge an hourly, because otherwise you end up having county employees basically doing genealogy research for private individuals.
And then there's a retrieval fee at the
Salt mine, I'm familiar with
Yeah.
that.
Lisa would know what that
Okay.
is. So you kind of need to talk to Lisa and Luann and work that
Okay.
schedule out, because
I think-
like I say, I don't charge.
pay the retainable fee plus so much, if we have to do it, how much, so much in order.
Well, I'll have something for you to look at
Okay,
next
there you
week.
are.
It's been mildly busy down here, although there's really nothing that exciting. We're gonna do something with our thieves here in town with all the motorcycles, and I think I only convict one of them. Well, that's the way it works sometimes. The other person professes ignorance, and it's really difficult to, unless you catch them red-handed, it's,
For what now?
motorcycle thefts, ATV thefts. We got
Oh.
a house here in town where there's 2 or 3 stolen
yeah.
ones. And we charged 2 people, but one of them is steadfast in his
You didn't even know they
professed
were there.
ignorance. Correct.
Walked around them forever, didn't know they were there.
It's difficult to, prove otherwise unless you have pictures or, somebody able to testify that he was, riding them or doing something with them. That does what works in my garage. Nothing valuable, I know that. I have one of those 3-bay garages that you can't get a bicycle in, 'cause it's full of stuff.
We were just talking about stuff.
Well, I've kept enough room for the car and pickup, but it's moving in on them.
Well, one bay is actually occupied by legitimate stuff, like a big table saw and a band saw, okay? That's legit. But the rest, the other 2 bays are just junk.
You need to have an auction.
It seems to happen in garages.
Yeah.
It's pretty to just put it out in the garage, it seems like.
Well, I've got a little building.
I got one too, mine's full
There's
too.
2 buildings at Maxville.
I think a bigger building now.
And the south one, I just.
Build onto your
it's a junk
building.
Build up a building.
And that's what's in it. But I think when it comes around and it's clean, there's gonna be some of that stuff disappear.
Well, we've actually caught some anhydrous thieves lately.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Up in the northwest corner of the county.
Or the radium?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A couple from Radium and a couple from Seward.
Sure.
Oh, no.
All with long prior records.
How surprising.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a busy year this year, unfortunately.
I tell you, what, them people who fool with that stuff, I just cannot understand. I sold it for years.
There's nothing subtle about these folks, because they went out to a farmer's rig, tractor and, tank, and just started filling up propane bottles from that. And that's easy to spot, because, your typical propane bottle's got the brass fitting, and the minute you run the
Now, that's-
anhydrous through,
that
it
is
turns
stupid.
blue-green. I mean,
Yeah.
hello?
It ain't long before it's leaking.
I mean, you don't need Sherlock Holmes to go figure that one out. They had a whole bunch of them, was up in, let's see, I'm trying to think which house, I think it was on, something on Main and Seward where they're all arrested, but they were from both Radium and Seward. Bates, Powell, Coe, C-O-E, and Torres. I don't know if they have Torres in custody, but,
Well, over at Belpre, several years ago, they had an ammonia tank up in the north end, and somebody took a hammer to the main valve. The wind was in the north. And if they'd have got that thing busted like they wanted it, it would have just, I don't know how many people would have died in Guthrie. Just empty that tank, that's an 83,000-gallon tank.
So like I said, it's nothing really that exciting, but it's just kind of a little volume of business has increased.
Does that nickel keep you out of trouble with parking meter mates or what?
I just worry this when I'm dealing with people who haven't paid their fines and their costs to the court, and they're wondering why.
If you walk back to the meter and it's expired, you say, well, look, I've got it right here to you.
You know, we explained to Mr. Asbury today that you need to pay to play. If you don't pay, you're going to go to jail and serve out the rest of your sentence. It's funny how that works. I mean, I would call a fine walking around money, because if you don't pay it, you don't walk around.
Never heard it called like that.
I actually stole that line from the Honorable District Judge J. Don Reynolds out in Dodge City. He was on the bench for about 20 years out there, and he was, how should we say, unique.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I remember when J. Don got bucked off his horse and ended up in the rotating or circular bed in Meade Hospital. He was a rather difficult patient. Managed to break his pelvis in 3 or 4 spots. Something to be said for not using Western saddles, because if you hit that pommel, ouch. Well, I will get you something to look at for next week. I'll talk to Luann, and I gathered when I didn't hear anything in the next week, it kind of died down.
Okey doke.
Well, Nita, how are things with you?
Good.
Good. I like to hear it. No news is good news.
That's right.
We did file our appeal, by the way, from that F.G. Hall gas field valuation, so we heard in district court here. So I'm on top of that now. When it's set for trial, I'll let you know, but basically we just set the, well, we sent in $115 to get the transcript from the Board of Tax Appeals, so I wasn't there for that Board of Tax Appeals hearing, so I guess my list of many things to do is read through it. I'm trying to figure out what $115 is gonna look like.
Yeah. Okay, John, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
I'll be upstairs if it needs me. Just taking care of a few odds and ends. Oh, well, it's interesting going around campaigning, knocking on doors. I've been working Stafford because nobody over there, well, I come here all the time. I never run into anybody from Stafford. Ran into a couple people I knew from wrestling from a few years ago. Because it's funny how you get stuck in the Stafford High School gymnasium for 12 hours on a Saturday and actually meet people.
Now, my grandson was in that kid wrestling, that great band. I met a lot. I think the biggest one I was ever to was down at Hutchinson. There were 900 kids there, and 12 mats.
I was talking to a gal in Stafford, Mrs. Walton. I guess she's a mail carrier, but she had boys who went through wrestling. She was telling me, yeah, kids wrestling, it's you stop and think about it, you're spending about $100, $150 each weekend to try and get a $4 medal.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Anybody else anything right now? We're recessed. Your motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.